So I'm going to hand over to Michael now, who you've all come to see. Thank you so much for travelling. And I think that's it. Is it, Michael?
I think so.
Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Tony. Yeah.
So over to Michael.
As I said last time, don't clap until you've seen what's going to happen today and experienced it. But before we even say hello to each other, I think it's vitally important that we align our hearts and our minds in the right direction, that we focus in the right direction. So if we can, please, for a couple of minutes, let us concentrate on the divine that we are each a part of. And let us take our attention away from the material world with all its rabbit holes and all its suggestions and agendas, and let us focus on what we truly are, each a facet of God. And let us hand over this day to the divine, asking the divine that is within us and around us to guide us, to protect us, to infuse us with spiritual energy, to inspire us, and to help us to discuss things together today so that by the end of the day, we will be able to work even more effectively as light bearers and light bringers, and beings, spiritual beings, angelic beings, who wish to transform this world back to what it should be, a place of decency and honesty and kindness and harmony and love. Good morning. As Tony said, thank you so much for coming here today and for deciding that you will spend a day examining our spirituality. And I was thinking of the theme of today, Powerful You, and it is Powerful You, exclamation mark. That's very important. Powerful You, exclamation mark, to emphasize how powerful you are. And the lyrics of an old song came to mind, a song that's even older than I am. So I had to look up the lyrics. I remembered the key lines from it. And it was first recorded in 1944 by Bing Crosby and the Andrews Sisters for a film called Here Come the Waves. And it goes something like this. And I'm not going to sing it because you're not here. You're not here to be tortured. You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. You've got to spread joy to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum. Have faith, or pandemonium is likely to walk upon the scene, which I think were very good lyrics with regard to what we're going to discuss today. And it allowed me to divide the day into two very distinct sections. AM, eliminate the negative, and PM, accentuate the positive. Right, let us begin. If we are all comfortable, let us begin. And I want to begin by introducing somebody that you can't see. Because standing next to me, far taller than I am, is a luminous being, an angel, a being of divine harmony, absolute creativity and love. And I'm sorry that you have to imagine this angel, but earlier today I put a request out to the entire angelic host and said, please step forward, take one step forward, anyone who would like to appear here today at the sanctuary. And the entire angelic host took one step backwards. And various excuses were given. Homework needed checking, dogs needed walking, sock drawers needed organizing, carpets needed vacuuming. And the one-to-one responses from the angelic host range from, "You must be joking, Michael," to "not on your Nelly." Very unangelic thing to say. But of course, it's nothing to do with the quality of us being here today, with us as individuals being here today, but rather from a perspective of absolute bliss and creativity. It's very difficult to step down into the current craziness and heaviness and murk and confusion and deception of this world. Why would you want to do that? I know in talking to the Persian gentleman in recent months and years that it's very difficult for a spirit that has advanced into higher vibrations to actually immerse themselves again in this vibration. And of late, whereas the Persian gentleman in years gone by would talk to me for quite some time after he had delivered the message that he wanted to deliver, recently it's been, "I'm in, here's the message, I'm out of here." And it was the same with Joseph in the latter days as well. He once described it as needing the equivalent of a shower when he got back and having to adjust his vibrations gradually to get back to the bliss that he'd come from. So not surprising that our angels don't want to make an appearance. Of course, I didn't put a request in to the angelic host at all. We're back to the serious bit now, and I want you to imagine this wonderful, wonderful, tall being of light, creativity, godliness. And the reason our imaginary angel is here today is because they are about to incarnate into an earthly body. And they are going to go through what each of us has gone through in this present journey, because we're angels too. And so at the point that our angel incarnates as a child into flesh and blood, something disappointing happens, something awful happens, because they come in with all the power of an angel, with all the divine energy of an angel. And instantly they incarnate into flesh and blood. That power disappears. It disappears not because it's not there, but because they forget it's there. And they forget it's there because of a little thing called the fall that Joseph talks about at length in a book of the same title. That repeating pattern that we placed ourselves in as souls so long ago and which we're still suffering from. That repeating pattern that disconnected us in conscious thought from the God that we are a part of. So from being a powerful being, our angel loses its memory. And the fact that it is a spiritual being, the fact that it is an angel, is only glimpsed dimly at times through the heaviness and murkiness of this world. And so, from being a tall being, powerful being, as a result of incarnating, instantly our angel becomes a little bit smaller. Now, as we track our angel's journey, our angel receives an education. And our angel is told from the word go, you're good at this, but you're not good at that. You can concentrate on this, and this will be your place in life, but don't concentrate on these things because you can't do these things. And we will teach you how to quietly, without questioning, without making waves, fit into society. And of course, our angel is only a child, and so takes in this information as what it should be doing and how it should be acting. And so it forgets other aspects of its creativity and concentrates on those aspects that it has been told that it should concentrate on in order to fit quietly, without a murmur, into society. And as a result, as a result of that indoctrination, our angel becomes a little bit smaller. And now our angel is a wee bit older, and our angel goes to work. And it is impressed on our angel that it needs money. It needs lots of money. It always will need money. and that money is more important than time considering what it is, time contemplating what it is and what it is capable of. That money is more important than family and children, because that family and those children will need that money that it has to provide constantly. So put the money first and the family and the children second. Our angel is told that it will have needs all the time. Needs and needs and needs that only money can satisfy. And so our angel takes all this on board, and our angel gets a job, and our angel gets a little car, and backwards and forwards our angel commutes, backwards and forwards, and the years pass. And as a result, our powerful angel becomes a little bit smaller. Michael needs to refer to his notes at this point because his brain has become a little bit smaller. Forgive me for a moment. Yes, now our angel is growing a wee bit older, and our angel is advised to have regular health checks because something is going wrong with our angel. Something is bound to go wrong with our angel. And the experts will examine our angel at intervals to tell it exactly what is going wrong. But whatever it is, it can expect to fall apart slowly. It can expect not to be healthy, not to be infused with divine light, not to continue through its life, through its journey in full health, but to become increasingly ill, increasingly infirm. And so our angel goes to all the regular health checks, buys into the regular health checks, and as a result, what happens? Our angel becomes a little bit smaller. Our angel's wanting you to run away there. Our angel, it is impressed on our angel that it belongs in a world of need and a world of lack. It never has enough. It never can have enough. Its neighbours will have things that it hasn't got. And it will need and want those things to keep up with its neighbours. Because it's not important how our angel views itself. It's important how others view our angel. Our angel's identity depends on how its neighbours view it. And so it is encouraged to always get the new house, to always get the bigger car, to always look over the garden wall and see what it is that the neighbours have that it doesn't have and must get at all costs. And so it works even harder. No time to itself, no time to contemplate the bigger mysteries, no time for peace, no time for stillness, no time to celebrate what it actually is. And as a result of all this, it becomes a little bit smaller. Yes, there's only black and white in the world, our angel is told. Only black and white. The media tells our angel that there's only black and white. And the media will tell you, we will tell you what is black and what is white. And we will tell you who the good guys are, and we will tell you who the bad guys are. And we will tell you which side to be on, and we will tell you that you need to take a side. And we don't want you going within to figure things out for yourself. We will take all the responsibility from you. So there's no need to worry. There's no need to reason. There's no need to question. There's no need to have a balanced view of things. Just leave it to us, and everything will be fine. And so our angel does after years of indoctrination, and as a result, becomes a little bit smaller. Pretty soon the wings aren't going to fit, I'm afraid. Yeah. Judging others is good, our angel is told. In any situation, we will tell you who to judge and that you should judge because judging is important. And we'll tell you how to judge, where to judge, when to judge. Not to have a balanced view of society, not to have a balanced view of others, not to approach others in harmony and in love, but to judge. And our angel takes all this on board, and as a result, loses its wings completely and becomes a little bit smaller. Now, our angel, the years have passed, and our angel is becoming old. And our angel is told because it's becoming old, it's becoming infirm. No matter that it still feels completely healthy, no matter that it still has much to contribute to society, it is told that it must degenerate, it must become infirm. And it's better that it allows the next generation to come into being. Youth is power. Maturity is infirmity and has nothing to contribute. And so our angel realizes, because of what it's being told constantly, that only the grave and infirmity beckon. And as a result, our angel becomes
No way.
a little bit smaller. Well, there's nothing I can do. That's the mantra that is given to our angel. There's nothing I can do, little me, to change this world, to transform this world. I can't contribute anything. Why should I contribute anything? When the powers that be know what they're doing, I will leave it to them. And our angel is told, as long as you can have a beer on a Friday night, why worry? As long as you can go to the pub on a Saturday night, then come back and watch the late film on the telly, why worry? You're okay. Don't bother about anyone else. Don't bother about the world. Don't bother your pretty little head about such things. And our angel takes this in between beers on a Friday night and a late night film on a Saturday night, and as a result, becomes a little bit smaller. Don't investigate spirituality, our angel is told. That's nonsense. There's only the material. Don't investigate the notion of God, because that's nonsense too. There's only the material. Worship the material. Don't look at anything paranormal. That's dangerous. That, in modern parlance, is woo-woo land. Don't consider the bigger picture. Don't consider what you truly are. Don't have any higher thoughts. Don't have any spiritual thoughts. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of everything that you think. We'll close you in. We'll close you down. And as a result of taking all this on board, oh yes, our angel becomes a little bit smaller. And so from this great shining being of a few moments ago, we are left with this tiny, seemingly powerless person, powerless being. But it's an illusion. Our angel is every bit as powerful as it was the moment it incarnated here. It has just forgotten that fact. Society has shoehorned it into a certain size, shrunk it, confined it, turned its power against itself so that it believes it has no power. And because it attracts what it believes in, because it's a powerful you exclamation mark being, it attracts only negativity. It attracts its more consolidates its image of itself as a powerless being. What we need to do is to chip away at that image of ourselves. And I'm sure to some extent, and I include myself in this wholeheartedly, we have experienced this diminishing of our spiritual power throughout our lives. We have been told that we don't have power. We have been told that we have to hand power over to other people. We've been told that the world is a certain way. We've been told that we can't influence the world, that there are people that know better, that we shouldn't worry about things. Step by step, I had to chip away at my beliefs of this world, as I'm sure you have done during your lives, to question things, to not take anything on face value, Now, throughout the day, we're going to put this angel back together again. We can't leave them like that because it's a mess for a start. It's untidy. But in order to do that, we have to examine how spiritual power works and how each of us works. And we have to strip away, melt away those things that restrict us so that we can operate at 100% spiritual efficiency. So, that might just seem like a negative exercise. I hope we'll see during the day that it really isn't. But to lighten the mood a little bit, I'd just like to tell you about a friend of ours. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah. We have a friend who visits a church regularly and kneels in the front pew when it's empty in front of the statue of an angel and clasps his hands together and closes his eyes and says, "Please, please, please, let me win the lottery." Sometimes he'll go twice a day and kneels there fervently. Please, please, please. It's his mantra. Let me win the lottery. Well, he's been doing this for, a couple of years now. And a few weeks ago, a kind of miracle did happen. In that, there he was kneeling in the front pew, and the angel, in a blast of white light and a blast of heavenly music, suddenly started to move. Suddenly came to life and got down from the plinth and advanced towards our friend. And there he was in the front pew, trembling. And the angel looked him in the eye, bowed down and looked him in the eye and put his hands together and said, "Please, please, please, buy a lottery ticket." Now, I've called part 2 of this morning's lineup, Positive and Negative, understanding that both use spiritual power. We tend to think that if we are operating positively, then that's something really dynamic, and it counters anything negative. But negativity is an attitude, is a perspective. So when you're looking at things negatively, because you are an angelic being, you are still drawing on spiritual power. You can't draw on anything else. So you are either, as a choice, fueling your positive attitude towards life or your negative attitude towards life. And you are equally successful, positively and negatively, because you are drawing on your power to make those choices that you then create and consolidate into form. What we have to do, of course, is to concentrate on the positive of this. We're not left here alone. We come equipped with a grab bag. Now, I've never been in first class on an aeroplane. I don't like aeroplanes. I get a nosebleed standing on a stool. But I believe in first class, you get a grab bag, and there's a pair of slippers in there, and there's a face cloth in there, and there's some face cream in there, everything that you will need for the journey. We are similarly equipped. We come here similarly equipped for the journey that we're undertaking on earth. And I've asked specifically, where have I put it? Asked specifically, now this is usually invisible with me, but this is my grab bag. And you each have an equal grab bag with you at this time. And in here are all the spiritual powers that I will ever need in life to be effective, to change this world, to maintain myself, to spread out love and harmony to the planet and to every soul on the planet. So let's have a look at some of the things that we've got in here. If I can find them. Yep. That's the first thing. What have I got here? I have a sculpting hammer, and I have a sculpting chisel. Now, Michelangelo, the great artist and painter and sculptor, believed that in the block of granite that he was about to work on, The sculpture that he wanted to create was already there. It simply needed to be freed by him chipping away at the extraneous material. That's what we can do. We are equipped. We are sculptors. Our thoughts sculpt this world. And you might say, well, we're not doing a very good job, are we? Look at the world. But that's because there are so many souls that are sculpting in a negative way. And as Joseph says, and as the Persian gentleman says, one soul working for the light is equal to 1,000 working for the darkness. And so we have to understand that at core, this world is the angelic heaven that it was created to be. It's still there. But what we've done as mankind is wrap around that core the heaviness, the granite of our thoughts since the time of the fall. And what are we doing as mankind currently? Creating each day more granite. Not more light, but more granite. And so we need people that understand that they've got one of these and they've got one of these. And that each day they can chip away via their focus at the way the world looks and the way that the world acts. We have to maintain our focus. As powerful you, exclamation mark people, we have to maintain our positive focus. Each day we have to look at how we want the world to be and to hold that vision in our mind's eye. Never to deviate from it, to say, this is the world. Anything else is a lie. Anything else are chips and flecks of granite that I am chipping away at. And so I will use this and I will use this every day of my life to make a difference. And you can think what you like, but I know what I want from this world. I know what the divine wants from this world. I know what the angelic host wants from this world. I know what Joseph and his soul group want from this world. And I will play my part as a powerful you, exclamation mark being, to bring that world into being. So each day you can chip away at the granite. Thank you. I don't know whether I should give this to Jane.
Quite safely.
You're only allowed plastic scissors, aren't you? That's the thing. Now, what else have we got in the grab bag? Lots of things that powerful you people need. Oh, blimey. That's. Do you want to come out? I'm not coming out. You're coming out. Right. Always wanted one of these because each person on earth is a magician. When we are children, we believe in magic, don't we? And each day is magical, isn't it? Remember when a weekend was 3 weeks long? Remember when all the possibilities were there and none of the negatives? We could do whatever we wanted. Remember when we were filled with energy. Remember, in some of our cases, when we could see spirit people. But what happens as we grow older? We are encouraged not to see spirit people. We are encouraged to be sensible. We are encouraged to be materially minded. Magic's all right, but it's the stuff of fairy stories. It doesn't exist. Well, of course it exists. Because as spirits, as the angelic beings that we really are, we truly are, we can create whatever we want to create. We are magicians. But weighing against that, we have years of being told otherwise. But that's not true. That's smoke and mirrors. Whatever we bring to mind, we create. It's just unfortunate that a lot of people choose to create negative things. I'm ill, and so I will attract more of that illness via my belief in that illness. I'm poor, so I will attract more poverty to myself via my belief in that poverty. I can't do anything, and so I will attract more of that belief, more of those vibrations to myself because I believe that I can't do anything. Do you remember Soti? Soti believed in magic. And it was, what was it? Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. and magical things would happen. And that's what we need to remember every day, that as powerful you, exclamation mark, people, we can bring magic into this world. And again, it's a matter of reinforcing our belief that the world is as we want it to be. None of us in here want there to be war. None of us in here want there to be disease. None of us in here want to have their liberty threatened or other people's liberty to be threatened. None of us in here want people to be frightened of death. None of us in here want people to reject the God that they are a part of. And so it's important that each day we spend some time with our magic wand, waving that magic wand over those areas of this world that we want to change, and saying, this is the way it is. Let's get busy today. Let's change our world. Let's see the world that we want. Let's see people getting on with each other. Let's see wars ending. Let's see honesty rather than deception surfacing. Let's see kindness becoming apparent in our societies. Let's see everybody getting on with everybody else, and let's see people reaching within themselves and discovering that within themselves there is a whole different world that they can bring out through the magic that they behold. So, we're sculptors, we are magicians, but we're also, now I hope each of you have brought your teaspoon. Who hasn't? That's terrible. Have you brought a fork instead? That's okay, that'll work as well. Oh, because not only are we magicians, but we are magnets. Every person in here, every powerful you, exclamation mark, person in here is a magnetic person. There was a phrase bandied about in spiritualist churches when I used to take services at spiritualist churches, which was like attracts like. And it was bandied about because it happens to be true. Like does attract like. Whatever our dominant vibrations are, our dominant beliefs are, we draw them to ourselves like a magnet. And so we have to be very careful, because we might in a morning draw to ourselves a vision of a new world, and then in an afternoon, via the magnetism that we have, say, I doubt that that's going to happen. We have to attract only positivity all the time. We have to attract positivity in that we are brave enough to take a stance with regard to how we live our lives. And if somebody says, what do you believe in? We don't say, well, nothing much really. We tell them what we believe in. We tell them why we believe in it. And if they think we're idiots, that's fine. But we know what we know. And so we have to sow seeds every day of our lives, positive seeds. We have to attract more of those positive seeds towards ourselves. And I'll show you with the next thing in the swag bag how that law of attraction works. And so can I give you the one? Be careful. Don't zap anybody with it. And this, you know this is valuable. Back in the drawer tonight. Okay. Now, I'm particularly proud of this next item. And I say that you draw towards yourself that which you believe to be true, because the next powerful you, exclamation mark, segment I wanted to examine was that we are each a builder, each a construction worker. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could have a hard hat to demonstrate this particular segment? And we have a friend who sends me things every so often. He'll send me construction kits, and he'll send me bits and pieces so that I can build things and put things together. And he didn't know what I was doing. He knows that I'm at the sanctuary, but he doesn't know that we work spiritually. And he said, I've sent you a parcel. There might be something in it that you can use on your next talk. And he'd said that sarcastically. And he'd found this, and it arrived 2 days ago. Now, it does double because it says fire chief on the other side, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But we are talking about this side of things because we've got a trowel here and we've got a hard hat here, because each of us, each powerful you, exclamation mark, person in this room is a construction worker. In that Every day we build bricks of belief around ourselves. And we contribute bricks of belief to the world around us. Now, there are a lot of dodgy builders out there, aren't there? I know that through personal experience. I know that because once I asked someone to fix the flat roof on my garage, and it was highly recommended. And 5 months later, after several attempts, and he'd been paid, I'd paid him early in good faith, he disappeared. And it was quite frightening to stand in the garage on a rainy day and to see the rain pouring through the roof, down the side of the wall and towards the junction box. But I survived. Other dodgy builders, we'll sort out your backyard, said a couple of dodgy builders. We'll make sure that the flagstones, we'll take them up, we'll put new ones down, and they will slope down to the gate, so that when it rains, all the rain will sluice away out of the gate and away from your backyard. Well, whenever it rains now in the backyard, there is a beautiful lake. Dodgy builders. And I bring up the subject of dodgy builders because there are so many dodgy builders in terms of spirituality around our world that are putting inferior bricks into the creation of tomorrow by what they believe in and build around themselves today. We have to make sure that the bricks that we build into reality are superb, that we are old school builders, builders that you can trust to do a proper job. And doing a proper job means that we don't fall into the global trends of saying everything's going wrong. We have no power. There's nothing we can do. Instead, we have to build the bricks that we believe in into society. The cement of society we create day by day. We are angelic beings, and it's the nature of angelic beings to create. And as angelic beings, if we want to make something, we simply think it into being, and it's there in front of us. And when we don't want it, we just think it away again. And we've forgotten that. We are builders in that respect now. So we might have to put things together materially because we believe we have to do. But the things that we believe in, we construct around us. The bricks that we believe in, we create and layer up in front of us and around us. So we have to make sure that we build around ourselves light, that we build around ourselves inspiration, that we build around ourselves protection, that we build around ourselves a vibration that allows us to be in the world but not of the world. And then we contribute those bricks daily to the global experience. And those bricks are stronger than the dodgy builder's bricks. And so every day we contribute bricks that knock out of the way the dodgy bricks and replace them with something more substantial, more lasting, more spiritual, more godlike. So again, it is down to us believing in the best for the world, believing in the best for every soul in the world, believing in the best tomorrow that we can see, and to visualize that tomorrow and realize that by visualizing it, it's not imagination, we are actually building it. We are construction workers. Now don't all ask me for this hat afterwards because this is mine. Now similarly, we're construction workers. Now there's a lot of vicious, violent stuff here today, isn't there? Because this is a demolition hammer. Not only are we construction workers, we are demolition workers. Because our thoughts have the power to deconstruct that which is no longer needed. Back to the analogy of how we work as angels. As angels, if we wish to create something, Joseph always uses the example of a chair. He says, if I want to create a chair, I think of the chair, and the chair appears in front of me. And I can alter that chair according to what I want it to be until I've got it in perfection in front of me. And then when I no longer want the chair, I simply deconstruct it. I think it away. I put it back into the ether until I need it again, or don't need it again. And those molecules that were the chair, those God molecules, created molecules, can then be used as something else. Somebody else can take a chair out of the ether or whatever they want out of the ether and put it back when they don't want it. But we believe in the constructs around us to the extent that we forget that as angelic beings we can also deconstruct them. We can break them down, and we have to break them down. And so not only is it important that we look at this world in its perfect state and help to create that world, but we also have to look at what is wrong in our world. And a lot of people say to me, well, no, there's nothing wrong, everything's right. And Joseph explains it thus: unless you know that something is out of balance, how can you put it right? If you simply accept that everything is fine and dandy, it doesn't mean it's fine and dandy. And you can see in our world that there are areas that need demolition. And so, every day we construct, we see the perfect world that we want, but we also have to take away those aspects of that world that we no longer feel are necessary. So we feel that people are being harmed, we see them as no longer being harmed, being surrounded by the constructive side of the angelic presence. If we feel that there are aspects of life where we are being deceived, where our liberty is being taken away from us, then we have to see those aspects as being deconstructed and replaced with positive, godlike aspects of life. So, construct and deconstruct. But be aware that we're doing it. That's very important. Most people do this subconsciously. Every day of their lives, why is this happening to me? Because you believe it's going to happen to you. Why doesn't the world change? Because you don't believe it can change. You are a powerful you, exclamation mark, being. Let me share with you can say to them, some of the truths of life, how you can change things here. And some of them will take it on board, and some of them will think, what a load of nonsense. Doesn't matter. You're planting seeds, constructive seeds, and they might not react to you today, but tomorrow they might just think, wait a minute, there's something in this, I will investigate it. So be careful in your constructions, be careful in your demolitions. Oh. See how I believe that I will not be hit on the head several times as a result of handing that over. And finally, I hope this works on the wall. There we go. Each of us does this every day of our lives. I didn't want too strong a beam. I don't want to take anybody's eye out. But you see, we breathe in and breathe out materially, don't we? That's the way that we survive. Breathe in oxygen, breathe out, is it carbon dioxide? And that is a rhythm that takes place subconsciously on a material level all the time. But that, as above, so below, that is a reflection of how we operate as spiritual, angelic beings. Because there are pulses of divine light and intent and purpose that emanate out from the Godhead to us and through us. And so every minute we are breathing in light as spiritual beings. And we are giving out light as we breathe out as spiritual beings. Now, that happens to every spirit on earth, every soul on earth. Were it not to happen, they would not exist. So we are radiators of the light. But in many cases, with many souls, the light that they breathe in is not the light they give out, because the light that they give out is filtered by their beliefs, by their intents, by their agendas, by their desires, and it becomes polluted and lessened and weakened, so that they don't know they're giving it out, but the light that they give out is of very little use anyway. We have to understand that we breathe in the white light, the God light. And it is not ours to hold on to, just as we can't hold on to a breath. We've got to breathe it out. And we have to breathe out that white light for the benefit of all mankind, of all humanity. And so we have to be aware in our times of stillness of that divine breath, that we breathe in from the Godhead divine light, energy, life, creativity, harmony. And then with each out-breath in our still times, we can breathe that light out. We can see it infusing every soul on earth. We can see it infusing the earth itself. We can see it infusing situations that we feel are way out of line. We can see it calming people down. We can see it causing harmony to burst out in troubled areas. We can see it reminding people of what they are. Because when we send it out as pure light, it touches not the head mind, but the heart mind. And when people are bombarded with light constantly, that light opens up their hearts and they begin to think differently, not from the head, but from the heart. And that's what we have to get them to do. Because the connection to God that we each have, the connection to our angelic inheritance, doesn't come from here at all. It comes from here. And it's something that I know Tony and I have discussed on many an occasion, that it's hard for some souls to understand that we have two minds. This mind allows us to function on this level, to make sense of the materiality of this world, and to say there is something chasing me, it's hairy, it's got big teeth, I'd better run away. So we survive on this level because of this. But this isn't where we come from. And every spiritual thought we have, every creative thought we have, comes not from here, but from here. Our connection as beings of light to the God that we are a part of comes from here. And so we have to reconnect to our heart. It's not difficult. In the last event, we went through a meditation to take you down from the head mind into the heart mind and back again. But we have to operate more from the heart. When we operate from the heart, we are effective. When we operate from the head, we are doomed. We are surviving. We're not here to survive. We're here to evolve. We're here to love. We're here to grow. We're here to become more. And we can only do that by operating from the heart. So we have to spread that light out. We breathe it in, we spread it out. Very weakly, it looks like on the wall, but we breathe it in and we spread it out. We radiate the light. And we are powerful exclamation mark beings capable of radiating out the light. We have to remember that. So, we are a construction worker, we are a demolition worker, we are a magician, we are a radiator of the light. We are a sculptor. All those things. Every one of us. Doesn't matter what we were told at school. I remember that maths exam where it said, 8 out of 100, hopeless. But then in later years, I realized that it was what I was being told in certain areas that determined that I couldn't do things. And I realized in later years and on the spiritual path that I could do things, that I could understand things. It was simply that I'd been told that I couldn't. And to round off this section, we have been told so many times that we can't do certain things in life. We have to remember what we can do. We are world changers. We are world builders. As angelic beings, we actually made this world. We set out and we thought, well, what would be a good playground to visit? Where would it be nice to learn something? How do we do that? I know. We'll build into the matrix of this new planet exactly what is needed to bring out of us certain experiences if we travel through it in a material life. And we put together this wonderful crystalline world. And I've seen it. And it is wonderful. And it is crystalline. And it is luminous. It is full of color and life and light. But that's not what we're told. It's a material world. We have a material life. We're on a material path. Things are going to happen to us at certain stages in our life, inevitably, not inevitably. When we reawaken our angelic memories, then we transform our lives and we become radiators of light for other people on this world. And the politicians are not going to change this world. And I'm sorry, but for the most part, the clergy are not going to change this world either. And those who say they're going to change this world are not doing anything about it. We, people like us, change this world. We are supremely powerful. And that's not an arrogant thing to say. It's an actual fact as the angelic beings that we are. So we've got to reawaken those memories and remember that we have this swag bag with this extremely expensive Hessian sack that contains everything that we need on our journey through life. If we want health, then we attract it towards ourselves. If we want to be comfortable, then we attract that towards ourselves. We don't examine or acknowledge lack. If we want inspiration, then we attract it towards ourselves. We don't run around, as many people do, saying, "What would you do?" And then they tell you, you might have 100 people tell you what they would do, and you agree with the one that agrees with you in what you were going to do anyway. And then it all goes wrong and you blame them. No, we attract towards ourselves what we need in order to make this journey. It's a challenging journey, but we are well equipped. We have all the tools that we need. We are angelic beings. Now, at this point, I'd like to share another tiny recollection. And there's a couple that we sometimes go out with. And they were having a beer. And we don't drink. That's not holier than thou attitude. We never did drink very much, but we found that when we did drink, the morning after, we felt terrible. And we thought, I don't want these pains in my arms and legs, and I don't want to feel hungover despite only having a glass of something, so we stopped drinking. So we were having mineral waters, and our friends, this couple, were having beers. And the gentleman of the couple, I think, had had rather too many beers. And he turned and he said, "You are my life. You are everything. I adore you. I love you so much. You're wonderful." And his wife teared up. And she said, "Is that you speaking, or is it the beer?" And he said, "No, it's me speaking to the beer." Quarter past, isn't it, Tony, the coffee? Right, okay, let's have... I don't want to go into the next section because that will take more than a quarter of an hour.
Michael, I wonder whether you could, fascinating what you're just saying, I wonder whether you could say how the World Meditation Alliance fits into that.
Yeah, yes, the World Meditation Alliance is a focus for all the angelic, positive traits that we have been talking about. The World Meditation Alliance is, I would like to say, different than many meditational gatherings in that it doesn't focus on the individual at all, on the individual members within the group meetings, but focuses instead on the God power that each of us has access to as that radiator of light, breathing in light, giving out light. And it also acknowledges, and we've been told over the years that we've been doing this, that the pulses that come out from the Godhead send out love and send out specific instruction and encouragement, specific areas of intuition, which can either be rejected or accepted by all souls on earth, but they are made available. And they're very powerful. And so at specific times, further intentions are added to the core of intentions that we've received already. What the world needs, not what we want for the world, but what the world needs. And so we sit as the World Meditation Alliance to allow those vibrations to flow through us as conduits. We put ourselves to one side and we say, we know what's coming in, we know what the intention is, over to you. Now, why do we need to work as conduits? Why don't those vibrations simply impinge on all souls and infuse all souls at different times and do their job? They don't do their job because this world is so darned heavy. It's like trying to get through thick treacle. And the vibrations that are reaching this planet from the Godhead are so high that they cannot impact on souls unless they are stepped down slightly. And we are the steppers down. We are the conduits between the vibrations and the world. And so we sit there and say, forget about us. We don't know what we're doing, but you do. And we allow those vibrations on a weekly basis to be sent out to where they are most needed and to affect the world in the way that they are supposed to do. And we always receive instruction as to what the next vibration is. And it will say, for example, during this time, people will revise their views of spirituality, or they will have a psychic experience and wonder where it's come from. And during each period that we are given, exactly what we are told will happen to people happens to them. Because we're not making this up, it comes from higher authority. And it's good that to get ourselves out of the way as often as we can. That's a very powerful thing to do as the angelic beings that we really are. It's something that I should add to how we operate as angels. Whenever I need to do something, and we'll discuss this later on, and I don't know what I'm doing, the powerful thing to do is not to say, right, I'll go and do it and make a mess of it. It is to say, I do not know what I'm doing. But as an angel, as part of the Godhead, I have access to what I should do. I have access to the inspiration and guidance that I need at this time. So over to you. And the World Meditation Alliance is an over to you movement. It's not about us. It is about us, but not about us as individuals. It's about us as the whole of humanity. It's about us as the planet. It's about us as all life here. And it's about the need for positive change and the most effective way to bring that change about. And so we sit weekly, and Tony sits weekly and has done for how long now? It's a number of years. It's a number of years, isn't it?
I think 3 years.
Is it 3 years? And we've received instructions for 3 years to send out to the world. And powerful you, exclamation mark, is a great term to use with regard to the World Meditation Alliance. Because in putting ourselves to one side, we instantly become the powerful you that we are. And we draw in and send out vibrations, light, harmony, peace, love, decency on behalf of us all. And so, are you all World Meditation Alliance members? Yes? Yes? Great, 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 great. Any non-Meditation Alliance members? Good. We're in good company. Yeah, so that's what we're doing, of course, Tony. Does that answer your question?
That just emphasises the importance of the fact that we can do something. We are powerful, exactly what Michael's been saying, but in the World Meditation Alliance, we are doing something.
Yes, it's not enough to be powerful and to know you're powerful.
Yeah.
You have to do something with it. And it is difficult. We find it difficult dealing with a greater audience at times to say, you need to do something. And it's back to that, well, on Friday night I'll have my beer. On Saturday night I'll watch the telly. I'll do something tomorrow. No, there is no tomorrow. You are part of everyone. You are part of everything. How can you ignore that which you are when that which you are is suffering? You need to do something. It's great to have spiritual knowledge, but you don't take spiritual knowledge and put it in your inside pocket and walk away with it and do nothing with it. That spiritual knowledge is given to us for a reason. And that reason is to uplift every soul on the planet and change the planet. We are at a pivotal moment in our history. Make no mistake, a pivotal moment. And what we are doing is the World Meditation Alliance will determine the future of civilization. And Joseph talked about it in the books years ago. And things seemed to be fairly quiet at the time when the books were brought through. And we thought, well, what's he talking about? You know, I particularly thought, what's he talking about? Because I had no recollection of what he'd actually said. But to read it back, and he talked about the current state of the world, that it was on the edge, and people during the live trance demonstrations would often say, how long have we got left, Joseph? And he'd say, I'm not telling you. Because if I tell you, via you being a powerful you, exclamation mark, being, you will draw in that as a reality. And so I will consolidate that end date by telling you what the end date is. It's up to you when the end date is, and it should be up to you that there won't be an end date. You need to do something. You need to work for the light. You're the ones that will make a difference. And that's what the World Meditation Alliance is about.
Every one of you that is part of the World Meditation Alliance is contributing to those changes that are happening.
Absolutely. And you're not just doing it during the time of the meditation. You carry the intention with you for the duration of the intention. So whether you're having a cup of tea, whether you're going for a walk with the dog, whether you're talking to somebody that knows nothing about what you do spiritually, you are spreading that vibration. You act as a conduit en masse during the meetings, but you also act as a conduit for the rest of the time. No matter where you are, what you're doing, day and night, you're working for the light, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. And you can do it quietly. Nobody knows that you're doing it, but you are making such a difference and such a needed difference here. And the meetings will pull us back from the brink. You wouldn't think so when you look at the news, but they will and are pulling us back from the brink. And we have seen things happen over the last couple of years. They say, well, this will fall. You'll see this disappear. This will build up. And it's all happened. And they said recently that the dominoes will fall. In other words, you will see in society one thing being revealed that will then topple another domino, that will reveal something else, that will reveal something else, that will reveal something else, until people are faced with the truth, the spiritual truth. The problem with that is that even when faced with the spiritual truth, many souls don't want to recognize it. No, I'm comfortable with this. I'm comfortable being in pain. I'm comfortable being confined. I'm comfortable being told things so that I don't have to make decisions. And that's where the power is needed and constantly will be needed. Come on! Understand what you are. Come on! Wake up! Come on, investigate what you are. How can you live and die on this planet without investigating what you are? Aren't you at least curious? Have we got any beer in the fridge? That's the task we have as well, isn't it?
Michael, thanks for clarifying that. That's wonderful.
Okay.
Shall we have a break now?
I think we will, yes, because the next part would take longer than it would cut into our coffee break. Thank you for your attention this morning. Okay.
Michael, it's now over to you, part two.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to conclude the second section that we were looking at before the coffee break with a couple of examples of positive and negative spiritual power in action. Now, as I've said before in this room, my spiritual teacher, Joan, would only go to the doctors to have confirmed what was wrong with her. She'd go to the doctors and say, I don't want surgery, I don't want drugs, I don't want treatment of any kind. I just want you to tell me what's wrong with me. Once you've told me exactly what's wrong with me, I will take that home and give it to God and I'll heal myself. But every so often, she would need confirmation of what she was ailing from. So she would find herself sitting in a doctor's waiting room. Do you remember those doctor's waiting rooms? There used to be a very cold one in Great Harwood that I frequently visited as a child because I had trouble with my ears. And there were benches along all four walls and a little gas fire in the centre, and it was freezing. And it was on an honour system in those days. There wasn't a receptionist. You would go in and say, well, I think you were before me. And then it's that gentleman over there. And you'd wait and go in and see the doctor. And on this particular occasion, Joan was in the doctor's waiting room. And people were talking amongst themselves, as they did, to pass the time. And one gentleman had a particular beef about something. What it was isn't important. I don't know whether it's political or the council had charged him too much on his rates or something like that. But he was very angry. And he started off this conversation by being very angry and telling everybody what he was angry about. And then somebody else joined in with him. And they became angry too. And then somebody joined in with those two and became angry. And within a few minutes, that room was filled with anger, with the barbs of anger. And people were having a high old time saying how sick they were of this and sick they were of that. And what they would do to people if only they could get hold of them. Now, Joan would always say to people, I won't argue with you. For the sake of my immortal soul, I will not argue with you. I am not going to drag myself down to a lower level of vibration. So if you want to argue, go ahead, but I'm not going to do it. So she sat there not taking part in this conversation, and then she looked up and she saw swinging from the light fitting above the room what she described as a little dark goblin. And this little thought form was having a high old time. It was swinging there. It was absorbing the anger from the room, and it was adding to the anger in the room. It wanted more chaos. And so, unseen by everybody else, of course, it was contributing to this chaos and hoping to keep up this level of upset, of negative vibration. And so Joan closed her eyes and prayed for the light and said, "Oh, Father, we've got to stop this. We need the light in here." And so the light poured out from her and she added to it. And very quickly, that room calmed down. People started looking at each other and thinking, what are we arguing about? Why have we been arguing? And they looked very shamefaced and became very quiet. And the little goblin popped and disappeared. So there you have an example, a quick example of the power of light and the destructive power of the negative side of our creativity. Now, many years ago, when I worked one-to-one as a medium, I was very frequently asked to come and sort out disturbed houses. Didn't like that, but I had to do it. And on this particular occasion, there was a phone call, and the occupants of this particular house said, all sorts of things are happening in our house. Writings are appearing on the wall and drawings, and it's very dark and dismal, and we don't know what's wrong. We can't clear things. Will you come and have a look? Yes, of course I will. But my first port of call before I went to have a look was always to say, will somebody come with me, please? Somebody who knows what they're doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. In all situations, I don't know what I'm doing, but you do. And on this occasion, it was the big Indian from Joseph's Soul Group, very powerful spirit. And so we gathered the occupants of the house in the living room and said, would you mind if I go through each room and see what's happening? And they said, yeah, that's fine. You stay in the living room, I'll look through the house. So the first port of call was the bathroom, and immediately I entered the bathroom, I was confronted by a spirit, an older lady who looked like one of the witches from Macbeth, and who threatened upon seeing me, and she was in a rage, threatened upon seeing me to do all sorts of unspeakable, terrible things to me. I won't relay what she said to me because it's not that type of day. I wouldn't anyway. But she was very violent in what she was saying to me. And I said, you can't do any of those things to me because you're on a different vibration, which made her even more enraged. But then the big Indian stood between me and this spirit, held his hands out, and golden light spread out from his hands and sealed the room off like a barrier, like a force field. And then when he got it in place, he pushed and walked forwards. And as he pushed and walked forwards, the light pushed forwards in front of him. And the spirit retreated and retreated and retreated, and she disappeared out of the house and was gone. So that was the bathroom sorted out. We prayed for light in the bathroom. We then were on the stairwell when a man appeared this time, looked at me with hatred in his eyes and said, I'm going to kill you. I said, I don't think you are. I don't think you can. We're not on the same vibration, which enraged him. This time, the big Indian stood between me and this gentleman and formed a cross of golden light in front of him. And this cross grew and grew and grew, and he pushed it with one hand. And again, the spirit was pushed out of the house, and the light disappeared. And the big Indian said to me, there is a teenage girl in this house, and she is bringing in this chaos deliberately. And you need to talk to her. I will talk to her through you. Gather everybody in the living room and talk to her. And so we sat down with this young girl, and he said, why are you doing this? And she said, I can't forgive God for the death of my brother. Now, I can't remember which it was. Either her brother had died young through a car accident or through illness. Forgive me, I can't remember which it was. But she had blamed God for this and would not forgive, in her mind, God for what had happened to her brother. And she deliberately was bringing chaos into that house. And the big Indian said, as long as you want chaos to come into this house, it will come in. You need to forgive. There's nothing to forgive, but you need to forgive. And you need to let go of this conception of God as being against you. So we went through each room, and every room was cleared. There was light in that house. There was peace in that house. It was wonderful. A week later, I got a phone call again. The house is disturbed again. And I said, I'm sorry, but your daughter is purposely bringing in that chaos. And until such time as she decides not to do that, there is nothing I can do. Because every time I clear the house, it will be disturbed again. So there you have two examples of powerful you. You have a powerful spirit like the big Indian using angel creativity and positivity to rid a house of negative vibrations. And you have a powerful you exclamation mark person on earth determined to draw on the negative side of things and to bring in chaos and to repeatedly bring in chaos to cause harm to her parents and to the house that she's living in. The moral of the story is that we must always focus on the light. Those spirits could not do a thing to me and could not do a thing to the house when confronted with the light. But that girl was welcoming in the darkness, and by welcoming in the darkness, she was bringing it in. So, part 3, letting go of the negative lets in the positive. There are two things that relate to this, and it's very important that each of us, myself included, lets go at regular intervals of that which we no longer need in life. But there's also, on our spiritual journey, a point at which we decide that we are going to unlearn. To unlearn. We spend how many years in school? 18, 20, we go to university, perhaps more than that. Learning things. We have, and those things store up in us as our attitude towards the world, our perspective towards the world. In order to let in spiritual truths, we need to unlearn that which we have learned. And when I set my feet on the spiritual path many years ago, step by step, slowly, I began to unlearn. And it was a shock to the system. Because as the years went by, I realized that I needed to unlearn about health. I needed to unlearn about diet. I needed to unlearn about life. I needed to unlearn about death. I needed to unlearn about politics. And I don't know whether you remember the programs of a film director called Gerry Anderson. Now, Gerry Anderson was my childhood hero, still is. Actually, I have a bust of him on the fireplace, believe it or not, because he saved my childhood. I could take myself out of this world that I found a very oppressive world and into his fantasy worlds that were always very positive. And as a result, have some respite from this world until I could come to terms with it when I was older. And I loved his series. And you remember Thunderbirds, of course. That's possibly his most popular puppet series. And he produced live-action series as well, like UFO in the 70s and Space 1999, which I also loved. And in one particular episode, one of Gerry's themes that infused all his programs was nothing is what it seems. Nothing is what it seems. Picture the scene. It's an episode of Thunderbirds. We're on a mountain road and there's a man, a puppet, in a bright red new sports car. And he's streaming down this mountain road and he's got his dark glasses on, he's got his scarf on that's waving in the breeze and he's got his hand up on the sill of the door. And he's saying, because these things needed to be Americanized, although they were produced in the UK in order to sell, "Come on, baby, my beautiful baby, my beautiful baby." And he's going faster and faster. Then he looks in the rearview mirror and he is shocked to see that there's a car gaining on him. Not only that, but this car is not another sports car. It's an old dusty Model T Ford. And driving it, there appear to be two what are described in the program as hillbillies. And one of these hillbillies is pipping his horn. He wants to get past this sports car. And so eventually he pulls out and shoots past the sports car and into the distance. And the man in the sports car pulls over, screeches to a halt, and he says, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. What he doesn't know is that the car has got a turbocharger and that the hillbillies are international rescue agents out on a mission. Now, you'll remember Lady Penelope, of course. Do you remember powder compacts? My mum used to have a powder compact, and every lady I came across as a youngster had a powder compact. This, in the day, I don't know what happened to them, in the days before mobile phones and video links, Lady Penelope's powder compact was something very special, because it wasn't just something containing powder and a mirror, it was a transmitter and receiver, and you could get video links on it. Things in Thunderbirds, things in Jerry's programs were never what they appeared to be. Things were not what they seemed. Now that's a positive spin on things not being what they appear to be. But we have to look at this world with a view to unlearning and a view to things not appearing what seeming what they appear to be negatively. Because many, many aspects of our lives here that are thrust upon us are not what they appear to be. This is for your good. That is for your good. Oh, really? Well, let me check inside. Let me unlearn on this. Let me do the research. Let me see what the truth is. And a very different picture will emerge. And so unlearning is an extremely important thing for us to do. And unlearning occurs from the heart. We find that we're looking at something and think, hang on a minute, that doesn't seem right to me. Not from here, but from here. It's not right. What do I do about this? I investigate it. I shut out what everybody else is saying. And even what I'm saying via the chatter from my mind. And I go within, and there I will find the truth of what I think about this situation. And we need to unlearn regularly, because unlearning creates a space within us. We're sweeping out what we don't need. And when we sweep out what we don't need, we leave space. Space that can be occupied by higher vibrations from our heart that reveal to us the truth of any situation. It's something that we have to be prepared to do, however, because very often the truth is uncomfortable. Very often the truth dislodges us from the way that society thinks and the ways that society acts. But the other side of that argument is that the truth reveals to us our spiritual link. The truth reconnects us with our divine selves, our angelic selves, our greater selves. And the truth reveals to us a path that is rewarding and a path that takes us away from the deceptions of this world and brings us spiritual clarity and spiritual strength. So, unlearning is highly important. The second thing we need to do if we want to create space within ourselves for spiritual truth is to let go. Now, I don't know about you, but I've done this on several occasions, numerous occasions. I look at the tough spots in my life, and I look at the spots that have caused me harm in the past. I've allowed them to cause me harm, and I think, that's still hurting me. I'm still distressed about that. I haven't forgiven this. I haven't forgiven myself for that. And those vibrations, we store them. We don't realize we're doing it, but the trauma of the years, trauma upon trauma upon trauma, fills us up with memories of the negative aspects of our life and shoos away, pushes out the positive aspects of our life. So it's very good to let go every so often, to really let go. Sometimes we think we've let go, but then the same pattern emerges and think, I'm still resentful about that. I still haven't forgiven this. What's wrong with me? Why is it still with me? It's because we haven't found a way to effectively let go. Well, there is a way, hopefully, because I've put together a way for us to effectively let go. And it involves us in connecting to a higher vibration and to visualizing so that we can effectively let go. So we're going to do a mini meditation now, please. We're going to alter our vibrational rate, and then having altered it, having lifted it, we are going to go through a visualization that will enable us to effectively let go now, and at any point in the future where we think there is something that we need to clear out and let go of. So please, if you would get comfortable, by all means, yes, become comfortable, peaceful. And please, if you would close your eyes. And we are going to use a method to alter our vibrational rate, a rapid method that you can use in your own homes whenever you have a few spare minutes. And I call it the countdown method, and it begins by you visualizing in your mind's eye, first of all, clearing your thoughts. Let go of anything, any worries you have, any aches and pains that you have. They've no business here for the duration of this meditation. And I'd like you, please, to see in your mind's eye the number 10. Now, there are many ways to see the number 10. You can see it as a word. You can see it as a number. You can see it in your favorite typeface. You can color it as you want. You can see it from the left, from the right, from the top, from the bottom. There are many ways to focus on the 10. So now focus on your representation of the number 10, and as you do so, feel peace entering your consciousness. The material world slowly is moving away from you. You are moving away from it. And now gently let the number 10 go. See it fade away in your mind's eye and replace it with the number 9. Have a look at the number 9. How good it looks. You can make the number 9 into whatever style you want, whatever color you want, whatever typeface you want. And as you concentrate on the number 9, you feel that peace that began to creep in with the number 10 moving closer to you, relaxing your muscles, relaxing your mental faculties, your earthly mental faculties. And now, fade away the number 9 and replace it in your mind's eye with the number 8. It's becoming really peaceful now as you look at the number 8. As you look at the color of it, the way it is written, the typeface it's in, the size it's in. And you feel increasing peace flowing through your body and your mind. Now gently let go of the number 8 and replace it with the number 7. It's becoming very peaceful now. You are very detached from the material world. You are entering the spiritual world. You feel the tingle of spiritual molecules cleansing and healing your body as you let go of the number 7 and replace it in your mind's eye with the number 6. How calm, how peaceful you are. Almost halfway there now. In your own glorious light-filled space. As you let the number 6 fade away and replace it with the number 5. Halfway there, but already you can feel the peace, the warmth of higher vibrations, the love that the soul group has for you, that your family has for you on higher vibrations as you let go of the number 5 and gently replace it with the number 4. So calm, so peaceful, so focused on what we are about to do. And now let go of the number 4 and replace it with the number 3. Almost there, almost in that special place of peace and tranquility from which you can work effectively as the powerful you being that you really are. Let go the number 3 and replace it with the number 2. Count down, almost there. Number 2, very quiet, very peaceful. As you let go of the number 2, replace it with the number 1. And then let the number 1 fade away and enjoy for a few moments the peace that is now surrounding you and infusing you from higher vibration. And now, as the spirit being that you really are, in your imagination, you're going to stand up from your physical body. You allow your physical body to remain sitting in the chair that you're sitting in, but you stand up now as the spirit being that you are, and you take a couple of steps forward, you turn around and you look at yourself. My goodness, there's 2 of you. There's the spirit you looking at the physical you. And you notice that there is an energy line connecting your solar plexus as a spiritual being to the solar plexus of yourself as a material being, so that you are feeding your material self with all the energies that it needs to maintain its physical existence. And you now see that line of energy fading away. It's still there, but you don't need to look at it in what we're about to do. So I want you, please, to turn away from yourself now as your spirit self and to look towards the door that you came through, the door of the Persian room in your mind's eye, and to move towards that door. And as you get to the door sill, you look through it and you see not the cafe that is normally beyond it on a physical level in the sanctuary, but instead you see that there is a path that leads from the door, an outdoor path, beautiful flagstones leading into the distance. And to either side of this path are trees in the most beautiful greens you've ever seen, some of them in blossom, but all of them in leaf. There's this feeling of quiet and peace. And I'd like you now to step out onto that path and to walk slowly along it. And as you do so, you see that ahead of you, the path opens up into a circular clearing surrounded by trees. And it is a grassy clearing, and you step into the clearing and notice that there are 3 objects, only 3 objects in that clearing, in the center of that clearing. The first is a very comfortable looking armchair. You know that if you sit in this armchair, you will be supported in all the right places, that you will be comforted, relaxed, healed. Standing next to the armchair on the ground, on the grass, either to your left or to your right, you decide, there is an old-fashioned small filing cabinet with 2 drawers in it, one above the other. And finally, in front of you, were you to sit in the chair and stretch your feet out, at that point where you stretched your feet out, there is a circle of stones, perhaps 2 feet in diameter. And within the circle of stones, there is hay and twigs. Someone has prepared a fire but not lit it yet. And so I'd like you now to go and sit in the armchair, please, and to relax into it, and to feel it supporting you. How comfortable it feels, how supportive, how relaxing, how refreshing. Now, you look over to the filing cabinet that is within easy reach of you. There's no need to get up. And you see that there are 2 drawers in it, as I've said, one above the other. The top drawer has a label on it that says old entries, old entries. And the bottom drawer has a label on it that says new entries, pending, to deal with later. Now I'd like you to reach over to the filing cabinet. There's no need to get up, as I've said, and to gently pull open the top drawer. And in there you'll find that the drawer contains a box of matches and also a brown cardboard folder that has some sheets of paper in it. Take the file and the box of matches out of the drawer, close the drawer and sit back with these objects in your lap. Now open the folder, the cardboard folder. And on each piece of paper you'll discover that something very private to you is written. Something that has affected you in a negative way for some time. Something that you haven't yet been able to completely let go of. One sheet, for example, might concern something or someone you haven't yet been able to forgive for something that you perceive they've done to you years ago. Or perhaps on another sheet is written something you haven't yet forgiven yourself for. Or something else that still causes you pain and trauma whenever it is brought to mind. Another sheet might bring back to you a sense of loss, or regret, or guilt over something. I'd like you now to concentrate for a few moments on what is written on each sheet of paper. And when you've done so, when you've become very familiar with what is written on each sheet, each incident that you need to let go of, I want you to screw up that sheet of paper, to lean forwards, and to place it on top of the pile of twigs and straw in the center of the circle of small stones. Then move on to the next sheet of paper and do the same thing with that. And I'll leave you now for a couple of minutes so that you can do this, and then we'll move on. Now, if you've addressed what's on every sheet of paper and you screwed up every sheet of paper and placed it on top of the pile, don't forget you can always magic up further sheets of paper if you want to continue with things that you need to let go of. I'd like you to open up the box of matches, take a match out, strike it, and drop it onto the pile of sheets of paper and twigs and straws. And to see those things going up in smoke. Watch the whole pile quickly catch light, and your sheets of paper quickly being consumed by the flames and literally going up in smoke. As you trace the smoke up to the sky, you can see that the sky is becoming even more blue than it was before, that the sun is shining. You feel the sunlight on your skin, bathing you with renewed energy, filling that space that you've just created by letting go of your grievances and pains and traumas from the past. Sit back for a moment and watch that blaze, and know that with every lick of flame, the things that have been troubling you are gone forever. They are truly let go of. Now, before you stand up from your marvelous armchair, I'd like you to turn for a moment to the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet, the one marked New Entries Pending, to deal with later. Pull it open, and you'll see that it contains a brown cardboard folder like the top drawer and a pen. Take out the folder and open it, and you'll see that it contains some blank sheets of paper waiting for you to write something on them in future with the pen at some point that we'll talk about once you're back in the sanctuary. Now pop the folder and the pen back in the drawer and gently close it. Now stand up from your comfortable chair And turn around, turn your back on the chair so that you are facing the opening, the path that led to the clearing a few minutes ago. Walk peacefully, slowly back along the path, through the trees, back to the door that leads into the Persian room at the sanctuary. Ahead of you, as you reach the door, you see your physical self, unmoving, peaceful, sitting in the chair in the Persian room at the sanctuary. Cross the room quietly until you are facing yourself. For a moment, there are two of you. Then turn around so that you have your back to your physical self and sit down within your physical body. Become one with it again. Feel all the circuits being connected between the spirit you and the physical you. And now we're going to slowly alter our consciousness back to the material world. And as we do so, we ask the divine to close and seal our principal chakras so that we are protected and ready to take up our physical lives again. So let's do this in reverse. I'd like you to see, as you sit in your chair at the sanctuary, the figure 1. To look at the figure 1 in all its configurations, whatever color you want, whatever shape you want it to be. And when you've got it clearly in your mind, to replace it with the figure 2. And as you look at the figure 2, you feel yourself gently withdrawing from that higher vibration you have been to. And now replace the figure 2, see the figure 2 fade away, and replace it with the number 3. Number 3, and we're starting the return journey to everyday consciousness on this earth. As you fade away, the number 3 and replace it with the number 4. Getting a strong sense now of returning to the physical. As you let go of the number 4 and return it and replace it with the figure 5. Halfway there, halfway there. And your principal chakras are being closed and sealed with golden light, so that you will not be affected by any negative influences on the material world. As you let go of the figure 5 and replace it with the figure 6. Very close to coming back now. As you replace the figure 6 with the number 7. And the number 7 with the number 8. The number 8 with the number 9, almost there. The number 9 is replaced with the number 10. And now let the number 10 fade away, and peacefully, slowly, and in your own time, knowing that you are sealed with regard to your chakras, that you are protected, that you are infused with light, slowly come back to this level. Everybody back with us. Good, good, good. Now, the bottom drawer in the filing cabinet. Sometimes things can affect us quite suddenly. We think, I'm angry about this, or I don't like the look of that, or how dare they do that to me? Very quickly, in your mind's eye, take yourself along the path, very quickly, into the clearing, take out the folder from the bottom file, write down what's making you angry, and say to yourself, promise to yourself, I'll deal with that later, when I've got the time to go through the full meditation. Pop the file back in the bottom drawer, close it, come back to this world, and continue with your day or with your week or whatever it is, knowing that you have placed that in stasis, that it's not going to affect you, but that you can go back to it whenever you've got the time to go through the full meditation, and you can sort it out by transferring it to the top drawer, seeing what's in what you've written there, putting it on the fire, and letting the flames consume it and take it away from you. My goodness, we've only got a quarter of an hour left, Tony. That's only a quarter of an hour left, Tony. That's taken some time. Who benefited from that meditation? Oh, that's good. Now you have to be quiet because they're very sensitive. Here they are. Now this, somebody very special. This is Mr. Wyvern. He's looking at everybody. And Mr. Wyvern was sent to us kindly by a friend's mum. She makes stuffed toys and she sent this one to us. And our first reaction on opening the parcel it was contained in was laughter, I'm afraid, but nice laughter because of her kindness, but also because he's a rather unusual soul. You see, his legs seem to be on backwards. So for every step forwards he takes one back. But he has been blessed with other attributes because he has an hourglass figure. It's just that most of the sand seems to have run to the bottom. Now, what's your reaction to Mr. Wyvern? Who likes Mr. Wyvern? Who doesn't like Mr. Wyvern? Nobody. Who's neutral about Mr. Wyvern? Oh, gentleman there is neutral about it. He'll grow on you, obviously. He will. He will. Well, my point in bringing this soft toy out is to say that by saying who reacts to him positively, who reacts to him negatively, you connect with him by doing so. You connect with this object and you imbue this object with whatever your perception of him is. Now, we gave him a personality. We can't get rid of him, can we? No. Sleeps under the bed, doesn't he? It's dark under there, but he doesn't make any... We imbued him with a personality, and he has that personality. He reacts to us as we have put vibrations into him, as all objects do in our lives. There is an exchange, a dance of energy whenever we focus on the objects that are close to us and around us, from our cups and saucers to our houses and our cars. And if we are aware of this, and if we approach those objects with love and positively, they will give back to us love and positivity. And you will find that the things that should conk out, I think is the technical term, don't, that they last longer, that we can rely on them, that we never get any negative vibes from them. Let me tell you a couple of tales to illustrate this point. When I lived by myself many moons ago, a few decades ago, I was rummaging through an antique shop and I found a glass vase, a red glass vase. Looked like a chalice, but it had a lid on. And I very much liked this, and I thought that would look great at the top of my stairs on the little table I've got there under the window. And so I bought this thing and I popped it in position there. It looked great. But every time I passed by it to go to the window, to go to the bedroom or the bathroom, I felt disturbed. I felt weird, and I was quite worried about it. It was as though it was exuding some negative vibe that was affecting me, almost as though it was alive and didn't want me to be near it. And so after a few weeks of this, I phoned my spiritual mentor, Joan, and I said, look, I've got this problem with this vase. Can you help? And she said, well, go and get hold of it, and we will tune in independently, both of us, and see what we can find out about it. And so I held this vase, and I tuned in, and she tuned in, and we got the same impressions from it. It had belonged, at one point, to a very angry man. And this very angry man was also very controlling, and had a daughter, and had controlled her and manipulated her life constantly. And that vase had been infused with something of that vibration. So I took it to the sink, filled the sink with cold water, put the vase in it, splashed water all over it, ascertained that psychically it was being cleansed. Joe was doing the same thing on the other end of the phone. I then dried it with a towel and put it back on the table. And from that point onwards, it was fantastic. No negative vibes whatsoever. Now, Joan, in her marital home, couldn't stand the house. She didn't know why. She didn't like the house at all. She couldn't stand being in it, to such an extent that winter or summer didn't matter. She would go onto the town square and sit on a bench in the town square rather than be in that house by herself. And then one day she said, I've had enough of this. I'm not doing things in the right way. And she went through the house and she said, I'm so sorry that we don't get on. I'm not approaching you in the right way. And she put her hands on the walls in each room and she said, do forgive me. I love you. Room to room she went and she did this. And from that point onwards, the house and her were firm friends. But not only that, the house became a haven and a sanctuary within which she could do her spiritual work and could connect with higher vibrations and guiding influences. So we have to be aware of what we put into the objects around us. If I was angry at this very moment, that anger would be absorbed to a certain extent by Mr. Wyvern. If I was sad and distressed and upset at this very moment, then those vibrations would be absorbed by Mr. Wyvern, because I and you are powerful you, ! Spirits. So we have to be always attentive to the things around us. They're part of us, because everything is alive. This soft toy might only look like it's getting tired. It must look only like a soft toy. But the molecules that constitute this soft toy are intelligent. They are divine. They are part of creation. And so they react to whatever we put into them. So powerful you beings are very careful as to what they put in their homes. Powerful you beings are very careful as to how they approach the objects around them. And powerful you beings turn their homes into sanctuaries, in that nothing should disturb them. And if somebody comes in that disturbs those vibes, then we go through the house and we realign those spiritual molecules positively, and we recharge them with light, and we bring light and peace back into our homes. 25 past. Yeah, I know. I know you've a good figure, but you're hungry. Okay, well, say goodbye to everybody. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And on that note, I think we will break for lunch, because it's 26 minutes past, Tony. And what time do we regroup?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Perhaps a little bit in here, ready to go at 2 o'clock.
Yes, excellent. Okay. Thank you for your participation.